Jesus fucking Christ, man.
It's
unbelievable. Right. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Drink some fucking water, bitch.
I'm sorry. I drank 2 cups of coffee since we were sitting here.
You do the throat clear so much that even Philip started noticing it. And that's after I edit the episodes.
God, I don't know what to tell you. My voice is getting a little hoarser as I get older. There's nothing that I can do.
You got to stop eating dry oatmeal right before we record these episodes.
Hello, De Niro Nation, and welcome to Our Hero De Niro, the only podcast watching and recapping Robert De Niro's entire filmography in random order. I'm Mike, joined as ever by my co-host, Mike.
No relation.
And today, we are so excited to be discussing Robert De Niro's 1993 film, A Bronx Tale, starring Robert De Niro. Mike, had you ever heard of or seen this film before we rolled it for the podcast?
I hadn't heard of it until we started this podcast project, because I did see that it was one of 2 films that Robert De Niro directed. So I did do a little bit of reading about it, and it's pretty interesting from a production history perspective.
It is. Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about it a little bit in a moment. But to Mike's comment, this is Robert De Niro's directorial debut. We've seen the sole other film that Robert De Niro directed as well, which was Good Shepherd, which careful listeners may recall was really not that good. So
the not so good shepherd, if you will.
Was stupid. So I was really excited to watch the other Robert De Niro film to see if it was good, and I really hope that you all will stick around with us today to find out if we found this to be a good one. So Mike mentioned this a little bit. The production history of this film is very interesting. So this was based on a one-man show, an original play written by this gentleman named Chaz Palminteri, who also co-stars in this film. So if you look at the poster is Robert De Niro facing another man on the right, and the other man is Chaz. And so he wrote this semi-autobiographical one-man play. He also starred in it on Broadway. And Robert De Niro saw the play and he found it, I'm sure he must have said, right, because he's an urbane guy like me. So I would imagine that when he talked to Chaz after the show, he must have told him that he found his play tremendously compelling and that he would really like to adapt it into a film. Yeah,
I'm sorry. Did you just compare yourself to Robert De Niro?
50, however many episodes in we are. I mean, I think that we share a lot of qualities.
True. You're certainly both, Italian, similar heights.
Both devilishly handsome. I mean, certainly him much more so.
But, it's an audio podcast, so audience members can imagine you however they want.
Yep.
I was reading a bit about the production history yesterday because I was fascinated by it, and I actually saw that it was similar to Sylvester Stallone's situation regarding the first Rocky film. Apparently, Chaz, he wrote the screenplay, and I guess a lot of production companies, whatever, wanted to option it, but they didn't want him. Like, he knew that this was his chance to get into Hollywood.
Break into acting, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was his condition. But they kept telling him that they didn't want him acting in the film. They wanted someone like Robert De Niro. So apparently when Robert De Niro made his pitch for directing the film to Palminteri, he said something to the effect of, like, if you let me direct this film, I can guarantee that you will act in the film, which is pretty great. So De Niro ended up taking the other lead role of Lorenzo, the father figure.
It is awesome. Yep. And I read that was just a handshake deal. And so I really respect Robert De Niro for being, like you and me. This is yet another thing that we have in common with him, in addition to, our urbaneness, is our honor as men.
Absolutely.
He made the handshake deal and he went through with it. And for what it's worth, Chaz Palminteri is fucking incredible in this movie.
Yes. Really good casting.
It was kind of insane that they didn't want him to act in the film because he's like, listen, I love De Niro in the role, but like I think that Chaz Palminteri is probably my favorite performance in the film. It's really, really something very special. So it's very silly that they looked at this guy and they were like, I don't know if we should let him be in this film. Like,
this guy, he has the look, he has the sound, he knows the character in and out. He literally
He's good
wrote
at
it,
acting,
but we don't want him. We don't want him.
Oh, he's really, really good in the role. Yeah. And so just something about this film that's kind of funny is, so I had never heard of this film before I read the name of it when we saw The Good Shepherd, but I never read anything about it. And so I don't think I'd ever even heard of this film before we started the podcast. And when we watched it, there were a bunch of scenes in it that I'd seen in reels on Instagram.
What?
Yeah, so I think that this film, like a type of reel that I get, do you get these types of reels? A type of reel that I get are like clips from this sort of like 80s to mid 90s sort of Italian American mob type movie. And so this was one that I had seen snippets of clips from on Instagram over the years. And I'm really happy to have seen it because every time I'd seen those clips, I've been like, oh man, I hope I see this movie someday. It seems really nice. So that was kind of fun.
That's fascinating. I'd never seen a moment of footage from this film. So I went in totally blind. I will say it was nice. This is one that we watched together IRL.
We did, yeah.
With friend/wife of the pod, Caroline. So I think that was a nice little communal experience. We should try to do that more often, you know?
It is nice. Yeah, it's nice to have watched it together.
Yeah.
All right, you want to... there are still a couple things, I guess, that I have to say about it. So this was a modest box office success, grossing $17.3 million on a budget of $10 million, and was definitely a bit of a critical darling at the time. I believe it has a 97 on Rotten Tomatoes and an 80 on Metacritic, and was a I don't know what the preface I want to use here is. I was trying to think of a word to say to kind of stress its specialness, but we'll just say it. It was a Roger Ebert 4-star.
Yes.
So this was a very well received film in its day, and they called it at the time a promising start to Robert De Niro's directorial career, which doesn't really seem to have panned out. I'm kind of confused why he directed so few films.
Yeah. I don't know.
People liked this one, right? Like it did really well. Like, why did he then wait 15 years to direct another film and make one so different? Like, it's very odd.
Yeah, I don't know. After 2000, he was firmly in his check cashing era. So who knows if he felt like handling the logistics inherent to directing a feature film.
Right. Just didn't have the time for it.
Yeah. He's like, I could just make $2 million by being in some B movie for 10 minutes. So maybe I'll just keep doing that instead.
Fair enough. I mean, who could blame him? You know?
He was about to direct the Great American Epic, but then he was offered a role in Killing Season.
Oh my God. Can you imagine being in Killing Season? Like, man, listen, Robert De Niro, we love you. We're really grateful to be doing this podcast, but it would be a bummer to be in Killing Season. I hope you don't feel too bad about it. That's a really bad movie. All right. You want to get right into it?
Well, please do.
All right, so the film opens and we get some narration, and the narration is about the Bronx, and the narrator observes that the Bronx is very geographically close to what we classically think about as New York City, Manhattan, but very economically distant. The year is 1960, and we see Chaz Palminteri, as we talked about. He plays a gentleman named Sonny as a part of this opening montage, and the narration describes that he's like a big mob figure in the neighborhood, and the narrator says that he's about to meet Sonny. So that is the inception of the story. In this opening scene, we hear a lot of doo-wop standards, which something that I really enjoy. We get "I Wonder Why," which is one of my very faves.
I wrote in my notes opening narration doo-wop music, and underneath in a subheader or subline I wrote kind of decade of music Mike's into. It's about as late as you get with your taste.
I like all of the decades of music. What are you talking about? That's offensive. I think that I probably like the same range of years of music that you like. You just don't go back as far as I do, and I don't go as far forward as you do.
Damn.
Like for me, it's like 1950 to like 2000, and for you, it's like 1975 to the current day. Like,
I'm living in the future, man. You got to join me in 2026.
I don't think so. I think music next year is going to be really bad. That's my prediction. So we're just getting a lot of kind of moody establishing shots here at the beginning. I will say that I remarked here that the montage is kind of long. This opening montage is super long. And then I wrote, wow, we're getting a second song. It's so long. And the second song that plays is Little Girl of Mine, which is another one that I really enjoy. We get our De Niro face reveal. Mike, would you like to say when it was?
It happens at 5 minutes and 7 seconds into the film.
So that's how, that's how long the montage is. This opening montage is 5 minutes long.
You got to do your opening credits, man.
So long.
You got to show all the names.
Yep. So we meet De Niro. He is a bus driver. His name's Lorenzo. And we see that a bunch of kids are trying to ride the tailgate of his bus. And we're kind of just getting a little bit of like sort of establishing scene setting about the character of Lorenzo. You know, he's upset that the kids are trying to ride on the back of the bus, but he's not too upset about it.
Yeah.
Like he makes a couple of faces that are like, oh, these silly little rascals, you know, it's like
rascally kids.
Right. Like, so, you know, we can tell like, he's not a mean guy. He likes kids, you know. So we find that he is the narrator's father. And then we meet the narrator's mother. Her name is Rosina, played by Catherine Narducci of Sopranos fame. She plays Charmaine Bucco in The Sopranos. We see the narrator ride the bus with his dad. He gets dropped off at home, and his dad says, "Hey, you got to make sure you go inside. Go right upstairs. You know, don't be messing around out in the neighborhood." But he doesn't listen, and he sneaks around and goes into the mob bar that's right around the corner from his apartment. It's the Chez, Chez, is the name of the bar, and the bar has an owner, but as the local crime boss, Sonny is the de facto owner and manager of the bar, and we meet a bunch of other guys, like a bunch of mob guys. The details of this don't really matter. There's like some ugly guy who they call like Pizza Face or something.
Yeah,
what did they call that
name.
Guy? It wasn't Coffee Cake. Pizza Face is pretty funny. There's like some ugly guy they call Coffee Cake.
Pizza Face was a character on All That, the Nickelodeon sketch comedy series.
I mean, listen, that might have been why I thought about it, because I certainly did watch every single episode of All That more than once when I was a kid. But I was just thinking Pizza Face is something they call people who have a lot of pimples on their face. Like, and this guy has kind of a pockmarked face. Like, that's why they call him Coffee Cake. He's got a really fucked up face. Looks like he had a lot of acne when he was a kid. There's Whispers, Mush, Jojo the Whale, Coffee Cake. There's a lot of guys with goofy names in this film, but none of the details of any of these characters really matter. The only characters in the film who really matter are the narrator, whose name is Calogero, and later in the film he'll adopt the name C, and Lorenzo, who's his father, and then Sonny. These are really the only characters in the film who matter. So we might mention some other people, but it's not really very important. His mom comes into the bar and finds him there, and she's super pissed that he went into the bar.
One of the worst places you can find your 8-year-old child, or however old he is. 10 years old?
Gotta agree. He's supposed to be 9 at the beginning of the
split
film.
the difference, whatever.
Yep. So dinner with the family. This kind of establishing opening segment is over now, and we're into the meat of the story. And fittingly, as we get into the meat of the story, the dinner is steak. They have steak once a week. It's steak night, and the mom is really pissed that Calogero was at the bar. But Dad Lorenzo, he's really not that pissed. And I don't know. I respect that he's not that pissed about it, because I think it is like, it's a pragmatic way to think about being a father, to like just accept like boys will be boys. But I think maybe he should have been a little more pissed about it, to be honest. Like, I don't think this is a great fathering moment. I think that even if you're not that mad, like even if your idea is like pragmatic about something like this, I feel like you kind of got to ham it up a little bit with your kid to like try to discourage them from doing this kind of stuff. What did you think about the parenting in this scene?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess he probably didn't understand the severity of Little C's interest in the mob lifestyle at that point. And I feel like if you go over the top with trying to dissuade the kid from going, that might just push him to want to go even more. So it's a fine line to walk. He's doing the best he can, man.
He's doing the best he can. But in any case, setting aside how pissed or not pissed he does and should get, Lorenzo really wants him to stay away from the bar. And I wrote here that Lorenzo Robert De Niro, he's got a really warm affect, and he seems like a really loving, great dad. You know, it's a nice dad movie.
Absolutely.
This movie's all about
Calogero.
It is. This movie is all about dads. We see Calogero out being a douchebag with his friends. And I initially wrote, they seem like typical douchebag boys of that age. And then a few more things happened. And then I wrote, maybe they're actually a little bit more douchey than the average boys of this age are. And I think that what we saw that made me write that was, don't they like fuck with some guy operating a produce stand or something? They like steal some of his shit or like break they do something aggressive towards some older man who's just trying to run his business. And I was like, these kids seem like assholes.
The old man who comes in with a produce cart on a horse. Yeah. They were stealing his shit.
Yeah, I was like, that's not a good way. And then to my earlier comment, then we see a couple of the boys get really super racist about some black kids passing on a bus through their neighborhood. And I think the boys have an argument, right, about whether the black people coming through the neighborhood are or are not a problem. And all that they allude to in their argument is essentially what their parents have told them, which is interesting. It just made me reflect on just how much power parents have over the foundational beliefs that their children will have.
Yeah.
Because, spoiler alert, so much of the drive behind the plot of this film is the fact that Calogero is not racist in a way that puts him at odds with his peers. And, there's not like something about him that makes him not racist. It's just because, like, I don't think his dad is racist. So he didn't hear a bunch of racist shit at home all the time when he was when he was a little kid. Like, oh, man, like when you have kids, you got to be really thoughtful about the shit you say around them. Like, that's really gonna loom large in their minds as they think about the way they see the world. All right, so Calogero is sitting out on the stoop of his house, and we see a little bit of road rage happen between two guys out in the street. And Sonny gets out of one of the cars that was involved in the road rage incident and shoots the interlocutor of the road rage incident. It was a disagreement over a parking space. Shoots him right in the head. I
don't think that's what happened exactly.
Go ahead, tell me. Yep.
Sonny was standing outside on the curb with a couple of his mob buddies because C and his friends do this thing where they'll observe the mobsters and kind of imitate them.
Oh, they're like imitating them, right?
Yeah, they're doing like charades. Yeah. And then these two cars crash or nearly crash or whatever. And one of the drivers gets out with a baseball bat, which I have to say, if you are driving with a baseball bat in your car and you're not a baseball player, then you've already lost. I think that's not good. You shouldn't do that. But he gets out with a baseball bat to start assaulting the other driver. And Sonny sees this and just puts 4 bullets in the guy and leaves.
I don't know if that distinction is important. I guess it's kind of important.
He wasn't in the car because C wonders why he shot the guy. It wasn't self-defense.
It certainly was not self-defense, no. Lorenzo comes down and gets Calogero, and the cops come to question them. They have heard that Calogero observed the murder, and so they want him to essentially rat on whom the perpetrator was. They're going to try to get him to Welch, as I said. And Lorenzo is, of course, very, very nervous about that because you really don't want your kid welching on the mob.
No,
that would not be good. They bring Calogero to a lineup of guys, one of whom is Sonny. They show him every guy in the lineup, and I write here the scene is really tense, but maybe a little long. So early, I will comment on the Robert De Niro's direction early in the film. This film is extremely competently directed. It's really, really good, honestly. Whether you like or do not like this film, I think may come down to the screenplay, but it certainly is an extremely well-directed film. De Niro does a great job. The one thing about it that I think is a little bit amateurish is he does tend to let things drag on a little bit long. Like, it's like he really wants to bask and revel in the tension, and I think that some of these moments of tension, he lets them play on just like 10 or 20% too long, so the tension actually starts to dissipate, and the montage at the beginning is long, but this was the first scene that really made me feel this way, where it's like they show him, like the cop walking him up to like every one of these guys in the lineup, and it's like 8 guys, and for every one of the guys they're like, hey, is it this guy, is it this guy, and they show like the whole conversation that the cops have asking if it's this guy, and it's like by the 5th guy it's like we get it, and Sonny's gonna be the last guy, and you're like, well, still have to wait 3 more fucking guys before we get to the guy I actually want to see whether he's gonna say it was him. So a little bit odd how long this drags on. But Sonny is, as I said, the last guy. And they get to him. Calogero doesn't rat him out. His dad tells him that he did a good thing for a bad man. And Calogero just, I don't know. You think this is typical of 9-year-olds to be this ignorant morally? Like, this kid just seemed perpetually like super confused about the world around him. Like, do you think the average 9-year-old is this confused about the morality of the people in the world around them? You just watched this guy kill a guy. Like, it seems really simple, but like eventually, you know, like late in the film, Calogero is going to have some moral clarity about like what it means to be like a good man. Like that'll come to him when he's like kind of late in his adolescence. But it's like, it doesn't seem like it should have been that hard. That was one other thing about the film that didn't really work for me, is like, I really reflected a lot when we were watching it just on how stupid this kid seems. He seems like an unusually stupid kid.
Okay. Allow me to rebut a couple of different points you just made. Well, one, regarding De Niro's direction in that lineup scene and in the film overall, I didn't have that feeling about that scene at all. I actually really appreciated. This is interesting because you often accuse me of having a short attention span.
These opposing ways. Yeah.
Mike back at you thinks that the third act of this film dragged. Oh, he must have ADHD, blah, blah, blah. But in this lineup scene, I actually like that we're with Calogero uninterrupted as he goes through this very uncomfortable, intense moment. It's kind of a fulcrum point for how the rest of his life goes, and establishing his relationship with Sonny. And I like the way that De Niro directs it in a very unassuming manner. It just allows us to stay with it. He's not quick cutting and showing. It's
very naturalistic.
Yeah, exactly. In a way that I appreciated. It really allows us to, I think, get on Little C's wavelength and get into his head and his perspective, because this is a very towering, uncomfortable, difficult decision for him that he doesn't fully understand. So I like that we're just witnessing it all happen in real time. And I don't know. I don't think he's particularly stupid or ignorant to the ways of the world. He's 9 years old. What the fuck did you know at 9 years old?
I don't know. I think I knew that killing was wrong.
Yeah,
and I think that if I had chosen not to rat on a dangerous mobster because I could tell that it wouldn't be a safe thing to do, and my dad was like, "Yeah, you just did the right thing, but like it's kind of complicated," I think I would understand that. But like, he doesn't seem to understand. Like, he's like, "What does that mean? Like, why is it complicated?" It's like you witnessed a murder and didn't tell the police. Like, it's very obvious why it's morally complicated.
Right, but he doesn't understand why. He doesn't have the life experience. De Niro says you did a good thing for a bad man, and he did that action without fully understanding it. And I think that's partly because he finds Sonny and mob life alluring, but doesn't fully understand it. So he knows or is told that these are bad people, but that's the only act of violence he's seen, and he doesn't quite understand why it occurred. He thinks it happened over a parking space.
Okay, you're right. Yeah, you're kind of bringing me around to your point of view on this.
I don't know. I think maybe if he was like in high school or something, you'd be like, I don't know, man. Didn't you ever watch any crime movies? Didn't you watch any Robert De Niro films?
Well, for what it's worth, we're going to get an 8-year time jump to when he's 17 in a little bit, and he's still pretty fucking stupid when he's 17. So it's possible that I have like retrofitted some of my observations from later in the film about how he still seems really naive and ignorant when he's 17 to be like, well, in my mind, maybe it's like an offshoot of an unusually stupid 9-year-old that he could become as stupid as a 17-year-old. But, sure, maybe. He certainly is a very compelling character. So I don't want to give an impression that I do not enjoy this character. Like, I think it's fine to be a little bit unusually dumb as a kid. It doesn't make you a bad character, but it just seems a little dumb to me.
Not every film character needs to be some Joss Whedon quippy protagonist who's smarter than everyone around them. Okay, he doesn't have to be Tony Stark or anything.
So later that night, Calogero asks his dad what he meant by the comment that we just talked about. And Lorenzo says that sometimes you have to do things even though you know they aren't the right thing to do. The next day, Calogero goes to work with Lorenzo, riding the bus, and they end their route at City Island, which is a place they really like to visit together. We get a monologue from Lorenzo about talent. He's got this fixation on the concept of like people who are talented and how tragic it is when talent is wasted. And as they drive back, they pass Sonny playing stickball in the street, and Sonny makes eye contact with Lorenzo, and you can tell that there's this acknowledgement between the two of them that Lorenzo knows that now that Sonny knows about the family in a way that, like, you know, you don't want the mob to know about your family at all.
Yeah, no.
Certainly, if they do, you'd like it to be in a good way. Like, it's probably better than the opposite way that it could be, that the way that Sonny thinks about them is as a family to whom maybe he owes something. But you just kind of want to be anonymous in that world. You don't really want the mob to know about you, even in a positive way.
You want to go about your day and not have to interact with the mobsters that live around the corner.
At the next bus stop, one of Sonny's guys gets on the bus and he offers Lorenzo $150 a week to do a job for them, which we'll be told shortly is running numbers, which we discussed in I think it was Mean Streets, right? The concept of running numbers, as a kind of facet of underworld life in like the 60s and 70s, but he doesn't want to do it.
Just imagining. It's like a manila envelope with a piece of paper that just has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, this is like, listen, you go check them off. All right, these are all of them.
These are
all the numbers.
I got 1 through 100 on here. Yeah.
What's your favorite number between 1 and 100?
69, baby.
Hell yeah. I don't know. 69's fine. It's just kind of a bummer that it's not prime. I really prefer prime numbers. They have a finality to them, that composite numbers don't have. What about you? Do you prefer composite numbers or prime numbers?
Do I have a preference? I don't really have a preference. I guess if we're being real, my favorite number is 22. I've always enjoyed that one. Yeah. Stone Cold classic.
Yeah, it's fine. I prefer 23. It's so close, but it's a nice prime.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I like the symmetry of it all. Give me the 2 2s. Oh, man. Sure. It reminds me of a classic Jay-Z song from his first album, Reasonable Doubt, 22 2s. It's a freestyle. It's like a minute and a half long. Oh, it's really great. That's back when Jay-Z cared about the lyricism and not the radio play so much, before he went like full pop crossover artist. Maybe someday you'll listen to a rap album and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Once you get over your doo-wop phase.
You make a lot of jokes about me not liking music by black people.
Yes, I do.
But you know that doo-wop is primarily by black people, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
That is black music.
Oh,
right?
Wow, that's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really like old soul from like the 60s and 70s.
How come I never hear that when I'm at your house?
I don't think that you really like it, do you?
Not really. More of a funk, jazz kind of guy.
I try to turn on music that we both like, or just background music. Classical. It's nice background music. Everybody likes classical music.
Yeah, classical. It's classy stuff. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So anyway, Lorenzo goes home and he tells Rosina, his wife, about the offer. And you can tell here that they are kind of at odds with one another about this decision. She seems to want him to do it. And he really doesn't think it's a good idea. And he's right. So
yes, I'm glad we're talking about it. He's obviously right. You don't want to be engaging with the mob in that way. I'm sure it starts small and then they lean on you for more and you're kind of like stuck with it.
In my grandparents' life, and in my dad's life as a child, the mob was a fixture in their neighborhood. And it was just like, I think that they were people very much like Lorenzo is in this film. Like, it was just like, my parents and my grandparents, when they were alive, told me stories about their like observations of the kind of mob culture and the existence of the mob in their little Italian neighborhood when they were kids. And it was very similar to this. It's like they would see that kind of stuff happen. But like what you want is to not be noticed. Yeah. Like, it's like you want to be anonymous. You just want to kind of go about your life. And like, yeah, Lorenzo in this scene, I was like, he seems like the only smart person in this movie. Like, just wants to keep his head down and like do his bus driver job and like get by and raise his kid to be a good man, hopefully. And then you die. Like, I don't know, man. It's an unjust world. That's just kind of the life you get to have. The night of the funeral, Collegiero watches out the window and kind of watches the folks going to the dead guy's funeral go in and out of the funeral parlor and reflects on the fact that he committed a mortal sin by not ratting. He goes to confession and tells the priest about a little bit about what happened. But when the priest presses him to give him some specific details about what he didn't rat on, he rightly refuses to tell the priest. And so I observed here, at least he may be an ignorant child, but he's not ignorant enough to tell the priest the details of what he didn't
Smart
rat
move.
on. We see a scene of Calogero working on his bicycle outside, and Sonny sends a guy out of the bar to go get him. This is the scene that I have seen the most on Instagram Reels. Just so you know, this is a popular scene from scene from this film. It's a really good scene too. It's really cool.
Sure, yeah. I don't know why it's reeled up like that.
Because it's got a lot of quotable lines in it, right? Like, so let's talk about the scene.
Yeah, why don't you tell us about it?
So Calogero goes into the bar, and Sonny's sitting in the back with one of his goons, one of his senior goons, and they have this whole conversation. And we kind of can see a little bit in this moment, like Chaz Palminteri, he has this very statuesque, like kind of classical Roman quality to his face. He's like a very masculine facial features, and he doesn't emote very much with his face. So when he does, it's really affecting. Like when he does smile, or like when he does move his eyes. And that is part of, this guy's a great actor, but I think that's part of what makes him so compelling in this role, is that he has those physical qualities. And you can really imagine as a child, if you met this guy, you would think he was the coolest fucking person in the universe. Yeah. Like, it's like hard to imagine a cooler person. Like, he's like super smart and well-spoken, very masculine and strong, really handsome, tall. Like, he would, no little boy could meet this guy and not think he was like the coolest person on the planet. So you can really feel it when you see the performance.
He's reserved. He has a quiet intensity. He's smart. He's articulate. He, has his whole philosophy about the world. Yeah, super compelling, especially if you're a 9-year-old boy who's attracted to a more exciting father figure than your actual municipal job working dad. Yeah.
Yep. So I write here that Sonny really does have a very cool vibe. And they have this very kind of intense conversation, to your comment, where initially as viewers, it's kind of unclear to us, like, what does Sonny want with this kid? Like, because we don't really know anything about this guy, right? And like, so you don't know, like, is he an honorable gangster? Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Like, is he going to try to take advantage of this kid, or is he really just trying to make a connection with this child who he feels, I think, rightfully some debt of obligation to for letting him off, even though he watched him kill a guy? So they have this very intense conversation that essentially hinges on Calogero talking about liking baseball and really admiring. Is it Mickey Mantle? He talks about a character. He talks about a Yankees athlete.
I can't remember
whom he really admires. It doesn't really matter. The details don't matter. But he talks about like really idolizing some baseball player. And Sonny tells him that he shouldn't care about the Yankees, but should care about his dad, because the Yankees would never do anything for him. And Mickey Mantle, or whomever the baseball player they're talking about is, makes $100,000 a year, which obviously, 80 years ago was like making $1 million a year now. And that, you should care about your family, essentially. You shouldn't care about these famous people who don't give a shit about you. That's why the scene is on Instagram Reels, because it ends with that. And like, I think people rightly see that and they're like, yeah, that's like a good point. You shouldn't care about these like anonymous celebrities. You should care about your dad and like the people in your life who actually care about you.
I've never been a big organized sports kind of guy, and I'll casually watch football games or whatever, but I can't bring myself to care enough about these multimillionaire athletes playing this game that I'm just totally separated from. It's like, I'm not going to get worked up over that. I'm going to get worked up over the filmography of Robert De Niro.
Gotta agree. Yep. So, Calogero obviously finds this experience just as compelling as we do as viewers, and he starts hanging around Sonny a lot. And I write, this doesn't seem like a good idea. And strap in, guys. We're gonna have to see, like, is it a good idea or is it not a good idea? But it definitely felt to me at this moment like something bad was gonna happen, because I went into this film totally blind. So like, where did you think the story was going at this point? Like, do you think this was good, or do you think this was bad, like as an incitement for the story?
I think being a child who hangs out with the mob is generally painted as a bad thing in film, in stories.
Yep.
I think it's very rare that it, works out very happily for all involved. So no, I didn't, this is the inciting incident. This is where the drama is going to come from.
Yeah, it's true. We get a really funny scene here. I love this scene. I saw a really good review referencing it on Letterboxd, where Sonny has Calogero essentially rolling dice for him in some kind of like underground.
It's like the
casino,
basement of the bar,
I guess. Like, yeah, basement of the bar. Like, I meant underground, like figuratively,
literally.
Not that it was physically underground, although it is. To your point, it's in a basement. So he's got Calogero rolling the dice for him. He thinks he's like lucky, and he's winning a lot. But you can tell that Sonny is like, he's a little superstitious about betting, and so people around him, like people in his life, like keep annoying him or like rubbing him the wrong way, like while he's on this big win streak. So he keeps sending them to sit in the bathroom. And when he sent the first guy to sit in the bathroom, I thought it was pretty funny. But then he sends a second guy to the bathroom when he pisses him off, and we just see this moment of them just like crammed into the bathroom. Like one of the guys is like really fat, like watching with the door cracked from the bathroom. And then a few minutes later, in that kind of way that like when something goes a little bit too far, but it makes it much funnier than it does, he sends a third guy to the bathroom. Yes. And I was like, this is pretty funny.
That's good.
Like, this guy's pretty
escalation. Funny. Rule of threes.
And so we're getting a little bit more of a view into Sonny and what his character is like in the scene. And he seems like a pretty nice guy, honestly. Like he's obviously scary, but his friends are pissing him off while he's betting, but like he doesn't get aggressive or violent in a way that maybe like somebody like Joe Pesci's character in Goodfellas does in these kinds of situations. Like he's kind of good natured with his ribbing. Like they got to go in the bathroom because the boss told him to, but like that's the worst he's going to make him do. He's just going to make him sit in the bathroom. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I really enjoyed that scene.
No, it's a great scene. Yep. So Sonny wins a ton of money, and he gives Calogero some of the money that he won. And it's kind of established, I think, subtly in the scene that like this isn't the only time that this happens. Like Sonny has found that for whatever reason, he tends to win when he has Calogero there doing his games with him, and so he brings him with him, and he always gives him a little cut of the money whenever they win. So we get some narration from Calogero that like his life started to change. Seemed like people in the neighborhood like knew that he was hanging around with Sonny, and so they started treating him really differently. And we get an explicit scene of this with the old horse produce cart guy whom they were bullying earlier is now super, super nice to Calogero. He like gives him some like produce to bring home to his family or something. Yeah. Here's a free carrot, kid.
You can chomp on that like Bugs Bunny.
Yep, we see Sonny taking Calogero around the neighborhood, and he's referring to him as his boy. And so, to kind of sketch out what's happening, right? Because I worry sometimes that my retelling of films might make subtext that is really apparent, not so apparent in what I do and do not choose to spotlight. We understand now what this film is about, right? This film is about, the kind of tension between this narrator, Calogero's two dads, right? His biological dad, who's like a good working stiff, who just wants to like keep his head down and be honest and like raise his kid. And this other guy, Sonny, who's more of his adoptive father, whom we as viewers can tell is kind of dangerous and maybe somebody you wouldn't want to be involved with your kid, or if you were a smart kid, you would realize you shouldn't be involved with. But that's kind of what is at the core of this film from a plot perspective.
This is also where we get the genesis of the C nickname for Calogero, because Sonny tells C he's going to start calling him that. So
that's right. Thank you for saying that. Yep, I missed that in my notes. So now we're going to refer to him as C from now on, because that's what he is going to call himself and be called. We get a scene of his mom having found $600 in his dresser, which, to remind you, in the early 1960s was like $5,000. So pretty ridiculous amount of money for a 9-year-old kid to have.
What would you do if you were 9 years old again and you received $5,000? What would you spend that on?
Man, I don't know. It's hard to even imagine, just because when I was 9, there was nothing I wanted that cost that much money. I don't know. That's so much money.
When was I 9 years old? I guess 97?
1998, 97.
Yeah, maybe I would just buy the entire N64 library.
Yeah. So she finds the money and she tells Lorenzo, and Lorenzo is super, super pissed. He doesn't want C near the bar, and he doesn't want C having this money that's mob money. And so he's going to bring the money back. Lorenzo goes to the bar. He brings the money back to Sonny, and they have a very intense confrontation. Like, you definitely wonder in this scene, is it going to get violent between the two of them?
Right. You wonder if Lorenzo's going to get fucking killed.
Yeah,
you can't.
But you kind of think that he probably won't, you know, like, because it really seems
quickly.
like Sonny really likes the little boy,
yes.
you know, and that would really torch your relationship with the little boy.
That's the suit of armor that Lorenzo's wearing. He's wearing a human shield,
right?
With,
like, he may as well
C.
be fucking invincible. Like, yeah, like, it's like, it really seems like Sonny wants to have a relationship with his kid, and like, I don't think they're gonna have a relationship if he kills his dad. So,
oh man, there's a great scene in the old Adult Swim show Delocated, one of my favorite TV shows. Highly recommend season 2 to anyone out there, where the main character, the protagonist, who's kind of a dumbass, he walks into a mob hangout, and to protect himself, he creates this suit and with pouches, and he puts a bunch of little puppies in the pouches so that no one can shoot him because they don't want to kill the puppies. It's actually a pretty good idea. It's ingenious.
It was a pretty good idea. Yep.
Oh man.
Oh, good. So Lorenzo leaves the bar, and he and C have a fight on the way out. And I just wrote here, it seems like a really challenging situation to be in as a father. Like, what would you really do? You know?
Right. How can you dissuade someone at that impressionable point in their young life to not hang out with these super cool, alluring gangsters who are literally around the corner?
Right, and being really nice to you.
Yeah, and it's
like,
just
the thing is, like,
taking a genuine interest in
Sonny,
you.
Right, who obviously like is like a really scary, violent guy, but like, as far as we can tell, Sonny is just like a very like loving and kind guy
right.
to him.
Like mentor, yeah. Like
right,
yeah.
Like so we get a little bit of narration, and the narration says that Lorenzo and Sonny never speak again, but that C, the narrator, never listened to Lorenzo about not seeing him, and that in this intervening period, Sonny became the Don of the whole local mob, and they stayed friends through his kind of rise through the criminal organization. And we are about to get a time jump. Mike, anything you want to say about this first half of the film before we jump into the second half?
No, but I'll ask you now, what would you do if you received $5,000 right now as your how old are you, 38?
38 if I received $5,000?
Yeah. What if you had to spend it on something fun?
I was just about to say, like, if I don't have to spend it, I'm just going to put it in my savings account.
Yeah, I know, right? That's not what we would obviously do, but...
but if I had to spend it, I think I'd go on a trip. I think I would go on a trip somewhere.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Yep.
You can have a real nice trip for $5K.
I think I'd book like, I think I'd book like some kind of, fun, but relatively budgetarily conscious, like Europe trip. I think you could do for $5,000.
Yeah.
Pretty nicely. Do like a week in like Western Europe for $5,000. That'd be nice. What about you?
God, I feel like you could really stretch that further if you're willing to sleep in hostels.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be willing to sleep in hostels. I'm 38 years old.
Oh, are you kidding me? What are you talking about? People like that lifestyle, man. It's adventurous. It's bohemian. Although I was going to say, if I received $5,000 that I had to spend on something fun, my first thought was to get a really old, used Mazda Miata. Wouldn't it be so nice to have a convertible in the summers here?
All right, so we get a time jump. It's 1968. We get all I wrote here was that it's a Dion and the Belmont song. I didn't write what song it was, so there you go. I think Dion from Dion and the Belmonts, I think he's still alive. Or if he's not, he died pretty recently, because I remember, it's The Wanderer, I think, that plays, because I was reflecting during this scene about how funny it was when Fallout 4 came out. Bethesda used The Wanderer by Dion and the Belmonts in their marketing material. And I remember Dion was like super pissed about it because he didn't want his song used for something so violent.
Oh, wow.
It was like, what a fucking nerd. It's the one that's like, well, I'm the type of guy who likes to get around where pretty girls are. Well, I'll be around. I hug them and I kiss them. They don't even know my name. I'm definitely singing the lyrics.
I don't remember this
order, but it's that one
song at all. I believe
it's one of the 5 most famous doo-wop songs for sure. And Dion's white, by the way. He's one of the white doo-wop guys.
I'll have to listen to Spotify's doo-wop essentials playlist sometime soon.
There you go. So the song plays, and we see Sonny at the tracks. Oh shit, I never talked about this guy, but I remember this really made me laugh when we were watching the movie. One of the guys who Sonny sends to the bathroom in that earlier scene we were talking about is somebody who they describe as the biggest loser in the world in the narration when he's first introduced. And this is just this like kind of dumpy, like dumb looking guy who apparently loses every bet he ever makes.
Right. He's perennially
I just find
unlucky.
Conceptually this guy very funny. Like, yes. Yeah, biggest loser in the world. They describe him at. So Sonny's there at the tracks. This is another very funny scene, and he's bet on a horse. He's bet big, and the horse is winning the race that they're watching. But then the biggest loser in the world walks up and tells Sonny that he bet on that horse. And so before the race even finishes, Sonny's like, "Well, if he bet on him, it's not going to win." And he tears his ticket up and walks away. And then of course the
Everyone
jockey
leaves.
falls behind, like right at the last moment. That really made me chuckle. I love Biggest Loser in the World, man. That's so funny. C and his friends, they open up a club. They call it the Fordham Social Club. And we hear some more casual racism about there being black dudes in the neighborhood. I think we get a lot of white people saying the N-word in this film, don't we?
Yeah. There's a...
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Much higher than your normal film.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Way. Like I would say like the average of across all films, number of times a white person says the N-word has got to be like 0.1 or less. Right. Yeah. So like
you're not going to hear that
a lot of times, like dozens of times of white people saying the N-word in this movie. So we're talking about like 10,000% of the average.
Yeah.
Like. Yeah, it's not good, but I mean it's historically accurate. I think right there was a lot of that kind of casual racism back in the late '60s, kind of during it was kind of like civil rights movement, Great Society, like integration, like a lot of pushback against those kinds of things. So I really like something that I really appreciate about Robert De Niro, and we talked about this during Mean Streets. Is something that I really like about Scorsese as well, is I really appreciate and respect how much of their storytelling is trying to like deconstruct and shine a really bright, honest light on the casual racism of their youth. Like, I think that is a really honorable thing to do as like a very successful, very powerful in the media white person, is to like want to tell those stories and be like, yeah, like everybody was really racist when I was a kid. And that's kind of fucked up. Like, it's like, because that's what the second half of this movie is going to be about. It's going to be about how racism is bad. So, and for what it's worth, racism is bad. So there you go.
I'm inclined
You heard it
to
here
agree.
first on our hero De Niro.
First.
Yep.
Listen,
that's a hot take here, and that's a hot take here in modern America. Like, I still think racism is bad, even in 2025. So there you go.
I'm dark woke.
Lorenzo comes up and hails C to come over and take a bus ride with him. Remember, we had an 8-year time jump, so he's 17 years old now. I really loved this scene because we see a few scenes of C as a boy with a very like kind of youthful, reverent attitude toward his dad riding the bus with him in the earlier segment of the movie. And then them opening this second segment of the movie, showing so early a scene of him riding the bus with his dad, really drives home how different their relationship is now, kind of in the wake of the way the first half of the movie ended. There's a real coldness to it. You can tell that C doesn't really want to be on the bus with him. Like, we can see his dad like trying to make a connection with him, trying to get him to spend time with him in the way they used to spend time when he was a kid, but he's really not interested. And it's pretty clear to us as viewers that like this isn't a rare occurrence. You know, his dad is trying to find a way to stay connected with his son, but they're very distant from one another at this stage of their lives. There's a group of black girls on the bus, and C makes eyes with one of the black ladies. This character's name is Jane. She's played by a lady named Terrell Hicks, who I don't think I'd ever seen in anything else. Had you ever seen her in anything?
No, I checked her filmography after the movie, and I don't think I've really seen anything with her in it.
Yeah, she's really good in the role. And he narrates, describing her. She was tall, she was beautiful, she was classy, but she was black. And that was a no-no in my neighborhood. And so this is kind of the central thrust of the second half of the film, is about him like finding a way to be true to himself and his own, attraction to this black lady in a very racist time, and probably an unusually racist environment during a time when people were on average, I think, quite racist. He bumps into Sonny, and Sonny talks to him about Machiavelli. They have a conversation about how in prison, what does Sonny say? He says there's two things you can do. It's like fight or like work out or something. Like it's like in prison you can fight or you can work out. And C asked him which one he did, and he said that he read when he was in prison. And so he read a lot of Machiavelli and just talks to him a little bit about, the ways essentially that you can inspire loyalty in people, about love versus fear, and that he prefers fear. And he tells C that with the money that he has and the power that he has, he could buy a house and live anywhere. But he chooses to stay in the neighborhood over which he rules because he likes to be visible. He likes to stay close. He likes to see what's going on. He wants to be like an involved manager, essentially. And you can tell in this scene that, C really respects the worldliness and practicality of this advice,
I mean, Sonny seems like a really shrewd mobster.
Yeah, he seems awesome.
Yes.
He's so cool. I love the guy.
I also want to be taken under his wing. Teach me the ways of the mob.
Some guys ride loud motorcycles by, and Sonny doesn't seem happy about it. They go into the bar, and this is a great Sonny moment here because we really can see, still in this at this point in the film, we are kind of still trying to figure out, I think, as viewers, what kind of guy Sonny is, right? We're waiting to see, is this guy actually an asshole? Like, when is the thing going to happen where we're going to see he's like the kind of person whom we associate mobsters in movies with being, like someone for whom the violence is just always bubbling under the surface, and something's going to push him over the edge. But it still isn't going to happen here, right? He follows the motorcycle guys into the bar, and they're kind of being assholes. And he's like, hey, you guys can't be so fucking loud. And one of the motorcycle guys is like, oh, well, we just want to have one drink. And you can see Sonny, he thinks about it, and he's like, well, I don't want to get into an unnecessary fight with these guys. Sure. So, okay, you have one drink, but then you guys leave. And he lets them go have their drink. But as soon as they start having their drink, they they start being really rowdy again in a way. And you can see this has just pushed Sonny over the edge. It's just a step too far. And the thing they do is ridiculous. They get their beers and they throw the bottles against the wall behind the bar or something.
They start shaking the bottles and spraying the beer everywhere all over the, oh my God. It's so funny because it reminded me of, our summer nights on Park Ave in downtown Rochester, because that is a really, upscale neighborhood with a lot of bars and restaurants and outdoor dining in the summer. And for the most part, it's fine. But every now and then you get the super loud cars or motorcycles, going down the street. And we've often talked about how there should be a law where you can legally be allowed to throw one rock at the bikers as they ride by, just one rock per person. And if they get hit and fall off, that's on them for riding these ridiculously loud contraptions.
I think that's one of those things where it's you would have to have that lawn effect for 1 week, and then it would never happen again. It would totally end the problem. So everybody would ride so quietly.
Right. They'd all go and buy silent EVs instead. Yep. I'm trading it in for a Prius Prime.
I reflected, I think, aloud in this scene that it's we was really ashamed that we don't have a Sonny in our neighborhood, because these bikers are never going to do this again after what's about to happen to them. So this is a step too far for Sonny, the spraying of the beer on the bartender behind the bar. So they lock the doors and they beat the ever-loving fucking shit out of these guys. It is a brutal scene. So now we finally see it. We're this is the violence, Yeah. And so this is a really important scene because we can see in this moment that C cannot handle the violence. As soon as the fight starts in the bar, he just cowers in the corner. He's having a trauma response essentially to this experience. And this is the first time he's scene like, oh, I've heard from my dad, like these guys are bad guys. Like I just know sort of generally that these guys are dangerous, violent guys. But because he and Sonny have such like a, relatively loving, very emotionally intense one-on-one relationship, he's really protected from all that stuff. Like Sonny's never going to show it to him. The other guys are never going to be violent around him because they know like this is Sonny's guy.
Right.
Like you can't act like that.
And Sonny mentors C. He sees him as a son, but he doesn't want Sonny to get into the mob life.
Right. He's always telling him, you're going to go to college. Like, I don't want you to do this. Like,
so he is trying to insulate him from the reality of the situation.
Yep. Another great song. We get the 10 Commandments of Love. Another great doo-wop track.
Crazy. You're really calling all of them out. I wasn't expecting that.
I mean, listen, I love these songs, man. I think I recognized every single one for the whole movie. I'm just calling out the ones that I really like. And it's a really awesome scene. It's just a really fun scene of what seemed like a bunch of terrible fucking guys getting the shit beaten out of them. Like, I don't know. Like, you don't go into a place and act like that. Like,
I agree.
You're gonna shake up your beer and like spray it all over like the bottles and the bartender. Like, I don't know. I kind of think you should get the shit beaten out of you if you act like that, to be honest.
I think if you cannot behave appropriately in public spaces, sometimes you just got to get your ass beat.
Yep. As I think that's the kind of thing where, like, if it happens every once in a while, it's going to make people think twice about behaving in a way that is undignified. It's like, if you're going to act that way, there's like a 5% chance that you're going to get beaten to within an inch of your life. Like, I think you're going to think a little judiciously about the way that you act in public.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So we see C out hanging with his friends, and they're buying guns from some fence. And Sonny notices that they're doing it, and he gets in there and breaks it up. So to your earlier comment, right? Like, this is where we see our first indication as viewers, like now in this relationship that Sonny has with almost adult C, that like he's really trying to use his relationship with him as a way to counsel him away from a violent life. Like, it's like, you can tell he sees a little bit of himself in C, like, kind of earnest, like intelligent young kid. And he's like, it doesn't have to be like this. Like, I want to help you get out of the neighborhood and have a life that isn't about this stuff.
Well, and C's feeling pulled in to this lifestyle by his friends, who are all wannabe gangsters and very stupid.
Yes, his friends are like the dumbest fucking people on earth. Like, I hate every single one of these kids more than I hate the last. Like it's like a logical impossibility. When I think about each of them, I hate them the most I could possibly hate an adolescent kid.
I mean, I certainly had some friends like that growing up, but not all of my friends were like that, and all of C's friends are that friend.
Right. It's not good. These are not good people. So earlier on the bus scene, I did not mention this, but one of the ways that Lorenzo tried to make a connection with Collegero C was to invite him to go to the fights with him. A little bit of kind of made me think of Raging Bull a little bit in this scene, because it was a very very Raging Bull type scene here. Not doesn't have the quiet intensity of Raging Bull, but we do get a brief scene of a brief scene of some boxing. And so Sonny invites C to go to the same fight with him, but he can't go because he's already told Lorenzo he'll go. We see him at the fight. He and Lorenzo are sitting in like nosebleeds, like very bad seats.
Cheap seats.
And Sonny is ringside, of course. And so Sonny sends one of his goons up and invites Lorenzo and C to go sit with them ringside. And Lorenzo is like, no, I don't want to go sit with Sonny. Like, we're not going to do it. And he rebuffs him. And Lorenzo can tell that C is upset and would really prefer to go down and sit with Sonny and his goons ringside, and he's really hurt by it. And C can tell that he's hurt, and he apologizes essentially for being a bad son. So we're starting to see some of this kind of like tension bubbling up over the surface, in these two kind of warring fathers here. We see a scene of C at school. He sees Jane, the black lady who we saw on the bus earlier, that he likes. They make eyes with each other again, and he feigns having a test that he needs to stay back at school to take that he missed when his kids are going out to do some of their boisterous douchebag boy stuff that they're doing.
Boys will be
his
boys.
Friends leave. Yeah, boys will be boys. And his friends leave, and he approaches her outside to talk to her. She introduces herself. As I said, her name is Jane, and he is going to walk her home. She invites him to the movies, and we see a scene shortly thereafter of C sitting out in the neighborhood with his friends, and some black dudes ride by on their bike, and C defends them to his friends, but his friends beat the shit out of them anyway for being black guys in the neighborhood and say the N-word a lot. And I wrote here, as an allusion to my earlier note that these kids seem a little bit too boisterous, that these boys are definitely more boisterous than you'd want boys to be. Like,
yes.
These kids are the worst of the worst. Really not kids. Not good kids. So we get a scene of C with Sonny, and C is kind of embarrassedly talking to Sonny about how, like it's kind of like one of those ways that sometimes the sort of conversation is presented where he's like, yeah, a friend of mine, Italian kid, kind of likes a black girl. Like, what would you think about that? Like, kind of trying to feel out like what Sonny thinks about this. And what I was looking up was whether I got the word right, because I described it as miscegenation, which, if you don't know, is the word for interracial relationships. I wrote,
yeah, buddy, I guarantee 5% of our audience knows that word, max. So thank you for explaining it.
Yep. So I wrote, he sees Sonny, who doesn't think miscegenation is a big deal and still thinks C's friends are jerk offs. That was the way that I described the scene.
I would say so, right on all accounts.
Yep. So essentially, C is kind of asking Sonny, like, whether he should go on a date with this girl, even though it's going to create problems between him and his friends because his friends don't like black people. And Sonny's like, essentially, the heart wants what the heart wants. None of that shit matters. If you like a black girl, you should just go on the date with the black girl, and your friends fucking suck.
Yeah,
so
your
you
friends
care what they
are
think
fucking
anyway.
idiots. So, don't pay any mind to them.
And again, like, really awesome Sonny scene. Like,
they're all racist incels.
Right. It was really, really good shit. And Sonny tells him about a way that he tells if a woman is a quality woman. This is suggested, I think, in contrast to something that happened earlier in the God, what was it? So earlier
one of
in
his
the
dumb
film,
friends had this.
Crazy Mario, one of the dumb friends, tells him that he has a test that he likes to use to tell if a woman is a good woman, and it's got something to do with roadhead. Do you remember what the details were of this?
I do not remember the specifics. It was not good advice.
But it's something very lurid and disgusting. And so it's like, so earlier we heard this like very like overtly sexual, lurid, misogynistic way that Crazy Mario likes to tell whether a woman is a woman worth seeing. And so we get a little contrast scene here with Sonny, where Sonny gives C, I think, his good advice for like how to tell. Oh, there, great news. So Caroline obviously can hear me talking right now, so she just texted me and told me what it was. So the line is, you pull up next to a trucker, yank her head into your lap. If she's into it, she's a whore. That was Crazy Mario's test.
The test makes no sense to me.
I have to agree.
Why do you have to be next to a trucker?
Well, because she needs to, the trucker's up high so they can see down in the car.
Right.
So the point is like that a woman of character. No, that a woman of character would be like, oh, I can't be seen like this, and would back away, because she's not an exhibitionist.
Gotcha.
I think is the point that Crazy Mario is making. Yep. Anyway, Sonny has the door test, which I think is a much better test.
A little classier.
A little classier. Yep. So the test is essentially like you get out of the car to let the girl into the car, like you do. So you get out of the driver's seat, walk over to the passenger seat, open the door to let her in, but you've locked your door on the other side. So when she gets in, she can see. And so you let her into the car and walk back around to the other side. And if she unlocks the driver door to let you in, she's good. And if she forces you to use the key to unlock it and have to get in yourself, then she's bad. She's not conscientious. She's not considerate. She's not like looking out to see like how can she help the people around her, which, I don't know. I think it relies on somebody being observant. Like some people are just not observant, and so they wouldn't think to do it. But I think if you operate under the assumption that everyone is observant enough to like notice to do those kinds of things, that actually is probably a pretty good test of character. Like it's like, how locked in is this person to like trying to be considerate of their physical surroundings, trying to help the other people who are involved in their situation. Like, and so we're just getting another contrast between Sonny and these like douchebag boys that C's hanging out with.
I mean, I agree with everything you're saying. I don't know if I think it's a very good test, because you're right. It relies on that person being observant of the opposite door. And even if I was let into someone's car for the first time, I'm usually looking around. I'm checking out the interior. I'm looking at the style. I'm touching the different plastics to feel, is this
feeling
soft
the
touch
plastic, like the cheap plastic?
This is the hard touch. This is the scratchy stuff. Oh, okay.
Yep.
So I might totally not even think to look at the person's door, but to each their own.
Is this more of a Subaru Outback plastic or like a Honda Accord plastic?
Oh no, it's GM plastic. It feels like shit.
GM actually they created a proprietary blend of ingredients to create just the worst plastic you could possibly have in your car.
Their R&D division is just working overtime trying to make the worst plastics. Yeah.
So Sonny has endorsed C going on a date with Jane. So C goes home and asks his dad for advice. And Lorenzo is a little bit more racist. But I think in a way that, because something that I think is really important, right? I mean, this is a way that I try to really check myself when I'm thinking about people in history, and it's advice that I give other people when we're talking about like the ways that people used to behave. You kind of have to judge people's attitudes and actions in the context of the era that they're from, right? Like, it's like, Abraham Lincoln, great hero in anti-racist history. But there's no way that guy didn't have like some racist opinions. It's just like 150 years ago, everybody was pretty racist, and it's like you have to appreciate the fact that in spite of probably holding some kind of racist opinions, he still thought abolition was right. And like similarly, Lorenzo, Robert De Niro in this scene, he's like, he doesn't say anything like super racist or anything, but he basically just says that he thinks that people of mixed races should not be in relationships with one another. Like, it's not a good thing to think, but it's pretty anodyne the way he expresses it. And so I think that we're supposed to understand in the scene that like Lorenzo and Sonny are both fundamentally decent people, but that Sonny is more worldly. Like, he's experienced more of the world, enough of the world to realize that like interracial relationships don't fucking matter, whereas like Lorenzo is still a little bit small-minded and a little bit cloistered and parochial in the way that he thinks about things. And so he's not racist, but he just, he just doesn't think that white people should be in relationships with black people. He's never really thought about it.
Sonny might be a violent mobster, but he's also not racist. So in a sense, he's also dark woke.
Yep. He has very, we haven't mentioned this either. Sonny is a very dark skinned Sicilian, So it's like, there's another dark woke thing about him, That one's really stupid.
Jesus Christ. Why don't you continue this here recap?
Oh my God. We're almost done, just so you know. So Sonny lets C use his car for the date, and he sets up the door test. But as he pulls up, Jane comes and she's got her brother with her, and her brother was one of the guys who C's friends beat the shit out of in the earlier scene we talked about a few minutes ago. And her brother IDs C as one of the guys who hit him. And I didn't say this earlier, but it is important to make really explicit. So like, C does not participate in the assault earlier. Like, he kind of like, he actually goes in and like his friends are kind of egging him on to try to like beat up one of the guys who's a part of the group they're all beating up.
This guy.
And C doesn't want to be rejected by his shitty ass fucking friends. So he like goes over and like kind of like shoves the guy a little bit, but he's telling the guy like while he's doing it, he's like, stay down. Yeah. I don't want to hurt you. Like, just stay down and we can pretend I'm hurting you. But like, this is like the safest situation you could be at. It's just with me near you pretending to hurt you. The other guys are not going to hit you. So like, basically, we know as viewers,
best possible scenario for a case of racial violence.
Right. It's like you have like one benevolent person who's decided to pretend to hurt you, which will make none of the other guys hurt you while it's happening. Like, and so we know, right? There's no way the guy could have misunderstood this. So we know the brother is lying. That C was involved in the assault, because to your earlier comment, he was the guy. He is the one who knows that C was not involved in the assault earlier. C lies and says that he wasn't there at the assault, which is the only thing that's a lie. He should have just admitted that he said that he was there, but that he didn't participate.
Yep.
And as Jane reneges on their date because of this lie that her brother is told, C calls them the N-word, which not great.
Well, he calls the brother the N-word.
Oh, does he? He doesn't say it plural.
No, it's just him. But either way, I think this is a top 10 epic date fail. You really,
I agree. Yeah, it's got to be just about the worst it could possibly be.
You can't call if you call your date's brother the N-word, buddy, you're not getting a second date. Come on. So it's like one of the worst things you could say.
Yep, it's so true. Yeah, it's definitely one of the absolute worst things you could say.
Well, he's a really cute guy, but he did call my brother a slur. So hard to know if I'm going to go to TGI Fridays with him next week.
Yep. So the date is off. C goes home. His dad sees him return in Sonny's car out the window. He didn't know that he had Sonny's car. He returns the car to Sonny. Sonny presses him on what went wrong, but C insists he doesn't want to talk about it. He goes home, and Lorenzo angrily questions him about why he had Sonny's car. They have a fight about Sonny. C leaves. Sonny accosts him with some of his goons and says that they found a car bomb under the hood in the engine block, and he thinks that maybe C planted it, and C is really hurt and very panicked because he thinks he's about to get killed, and he says he doesn't understand why Sonny thinks that he would want to hurt him. He was always like a father to him, and this is a very emotionally affecting moment. What I really love about this film is what is said and what is unsaid, right? And it's part of what I think makes Chaz Palminteri's performance as Sonny so compelling. I referenced his kind of statuesque facial expressions earlier. A lot of really great face acting in this film. And so you can always tell, right? Because we are adults watching this film. We know for the whole movie, like once you get about halfway through and you kind of can tell what kind of guy Sonny is, we can tell as viewers that Sonny loves C. But Sonny's like a tough guy. He's very masculine. He doesn't really talk about his feelings. And so you can imagine if you were a kid who'd grown up, you wouldn't really know if Sonny loved you. There's no way he ever told him, Right. And so we can see in this scene, like it's like an incredible, very succinct moment of clarity between Sonny and C, where Sonny's like, he didn't know if C really loved him either, and so now Sonny realized like, oh, I really fucked it all up. Like, whoops, I only had one person in the world who I ever let get close to me, but like I still never let him get close to me, like never close enough to know that we do have this father-son relationship, that we see it the same way, and it's a very tragic moment. It's really powerful.
And it's certainly a part of Sonny's self-described view of the world, that you should not get too close to people and that no one can be trusted and that nothing matters. And it's very much at odds with Lorenzo's worldview and advice to his son.
Yeah. So C's really upset about what happened, and he gets picked up by his shitty ass fucking friends, and they have a bunch of Molotov cocktails in the car, and they're going to bomb the black neighborhood where Jane and her brother live. I write here, God, C really is so stupid. Like, why is he getting in the car? Like, 'cause he's kind of a dumb person, like, why is he getting in the car? He's not racist.
Yeah. But those are all of his friends. I mean, he's an adolescent. It's peer pressure. That's his group. I don't think it's stupid necessarily. I mean, it is stupid, but I understand the pull. What else does he have? It's 1968 New York City.
Yeah.
He can't stay inside and play fucking Fortnite.
Maybe I'm being a little hard on him. God, it would be a shame. Can you imagine how much more smoothly the civil rights movement and integration would have gone if people had Fortnite?
Yeah, just to sort of like let out their frustrations.
Right, just to let out their frustrations, to bond over kind of this shared cultural experience of kids. They didn't really have that at the time. Everything was, it was pre-monoculture, right? Like everything was still very fragmented. And in a way, Fortnite's kind of the last vestige of the monoculture, isn't it? That and Roblox.
Oh, yeah. Minecraft.
Yeah. That's powerful. So he's in the car, and he's kind of sitting between his two friends in the back seat, and Sonny, I think his car like drives in front of the boys' car as it's heading out, right? And makes them stop, and he comes back, and he's like, "You're not staying in this car with your dumbass friends. Like, you're coming with me." And he essentially saves C from this like stupid, him out of there. Stupid thing he was about to get into with his shit fucker friends. Sonny brings him back to the bar, and he wants to talk to him, probably wants to apologize for, threatening to kill him a few minutes ago. But Jane is there, and she's in the neighborhood looking for C. So when they find each other, she tells C that her brother came clean about C being the one kid who wasn't participating in the assault from earlier. And then C makes the connection like, oh, the black neighborhood. That's where Jane lives.
Whoops.
This is another moment where I was like, wow, this kid is so dumb. Like, it's like in this moment, like seeing Jane reminds him like, oh, that's right. There's black people I care about. I should go stop this.
This was the one moment where I thought he's getting a little too caught up in seeing Jane again and forgetting that his friends are about to firebomb,
like commit a violent assault that will probably kill some people. Like, so C realizes they need to take the car that Jane's brought to go stop his friends somehow, even though that's impossible because they had so much of a head start. Like, I also didn't really understand what the logistics were of like how C thought they were going to stop them. It's like they were already a chunk of the way there when Sonny stopped them. Then Sonny had to bring them all the way back. Then he had like a 5 to 10 minute like thing, like finding Jane and having a conversation with her. Then they have to get in the car and find them. They're like 20 minutes behind his friends going somewhere that's probably only 10 or 15 minutes away.
Listen,
like
maybe there's like a McDonald's on the way to the black neighborhood. And he's like, well, they're definitely going to stop. They're going to get, like a large fry to share.
Yep. Oh,
McFlurry or something.
Can you imagine how good McDonald's must have been in 1968?
Bet it's a lot better than it is now.
Oh my God. Like, I bet you it was so good. So we see his friends. They shoot up and firebomb the bar and record store. But as they leave, one of the black dudes who's in the record store tosses one of the Molotov cocktails back into the window of the car as they're driving away. And there were a bunch of unused Molotov cocktails sitting in a crate.
It's so fucking good. Reverse Uno, baby.
Yep, he's sitting in the crate on the floor, and it ignites, and the car explodes, and all of his friends die. So Sonny saved his life, essentially, by making him leave this situation with his friends. So C and Jane arrive. They see the car having been firebombed. C realizes, like, I never told Sonny that I loved him and he saved my life. And like, I need to go tell him. I need to come clean with this guy about how important he is to me and like thank him for saving my life. And so he goes back to the bar and he sees Sonny standing there. And he's kind of walking up to come clean to him about the nature of their relationship.
Yeah, it's crowded.
And it's a very crowded bar. He said it's taking him some time to get to him. And as he's approaching him, a guy walks in and shoots Sonny in the head and kills him.
Fucking domes him.
Yep. And C says in narration that this guy who killed him was the son of the guy whom Sonny saw kill in the kind of inciting incident for the plot of the film. And so everything's kind of come full circle. And that's essentially the end of the movie. We're about to get a little epilogue, a little coda here. So C goes to Sonny's funeral. He's the only one there who's actually sad that he's dead. Like he kind of reflects in the narration as all the people walk up and like look at the body and talk to each other. This is essentially all just politics. Nobody's actually sad that Sonny is dead except for him. And the funeral ends and C's the only one who's still there. You can tell like the parlor is trying to close. The undertaker comes in. He's like, hey kid, like we really got to close. And C's like, can I just have a few more minutes, please? And he's just like sitting, staring at the casket, essentially. So Joe Pesci comes in. He plays this guy named Carmine, and he tells Calogero that Sonny once saved his life as well. And Calogero, C, realizes that Carmine is the guy who was in the road rage incident with the guy whom Sonny killed earlier in the film. And he asks him if it really was over road rage. And Carmine tells him that no, it was just a coincidence, that road rage seemed to be the inciting incident for the killing and that it was actually a mob thing. Like Sonny was just killing him because he was some kind of rival mobster, essentially. Carmine tells C that he's filling in as boss of the neighborhood now, and that C should come see him if he ever needs anything. And just as Carmine leaves, Lorenzo comes in to pay respects to Sonny. And Lorenzo thanks Sonny posthumously for saving his son's life and tells C that he never hated him, but really resented him for his closeness to C and for essentially making him grow up too fast, like things like not caring about baseball anymore. Like, you know, Lorenzo saw that as like kind of a vestige of C's youthfulness when he was a child, that Sonny kind of stole from him opportunities to stay close with him as a kid in that way. And C says goodbye to Sonny, and he and Lorenzo walk out. And that is the end of the film. That was A Bronx Tale.
It sure was.
Sure was. Yep. What'd you think, Mike? What'd you think of the film?
I thought this film was fantastic, and it may surprise you to hear my numerical rating for this film is going to be pretty gosh darn high. I'm giving A Bronx Tale 4.5 out of 5 stars.
There you go.
One of my highest that I've given for this cursed fucking podcast project that we started so long ago. And I was thinking about it. I was comparing it in my mind to other De Niro films that we've seen. The two that stand out being Sleepers and Mean Streets. I know you love Mean Streets. It's your 7.5 out of 5 towering accomplishment of the podcast up until this point. And, you know, I only gave it 4 out of 5 stars because while I really liked the film, I just felt that Scorsese's early direction was too messy for my liking.
Yep.
And Sleepers, I gave 3.5 out of 5 because that film is kind of bisected between the youthful group in the 60s as little kids, and then you see them later on as adults trying to basically do this whole crazy courtroom scenario that fell a little flat for me. A Bronx Tale, I thought, was just very confidently directed by De Niro. It's very restrained. It is very unassuming, but De Niro directs with such clarity. I thought it was a really impressive directorial debut. He has such a strong control over tone, pacing, and performances. De Niro's quietly excellent as this, you know, grounded, principled father. Palminteri, to your point earlier, he just brings charisma and gravity to the Sonny character without necessarily glorifying him. And Lillo Brancato, who plays the older version of C, I thought did a really good job of carrying the film as the young lead.
Mm-hmm. He's really good.
And I think
Should've
the film, you coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Yep.
It's really emotionally engaging, but it's still thoughtful and serious. And the way it handles race is a little simplistic because this is a 2-hour film and it's really only discussed in the second half. But I just thought it was a really fantastic film. It stuck with me after we finished watching it. I thought it was really emotionally affecting. And yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was one of the best films we've seen for the podcast so far. What about you, Mike? What did you think of A Bronx Tale?
Yeah, I love this movie. I'm going to give it 5 stars.
Wow.
I'm not surprised that you gave it 4.5 stars. I mean, I guess I'm only surprised because I'm surprised whenever you really like something, just because you tend to be so much more critical of things than I am. But no, this movie's incredible. I mean, I'm not surprised. This movie's amazing. I don't really know what I can add, honestly, beyond what you said. I think that you really summarized its strengths really, really well. I think that De Niro he's doing a riff on Scorsese, right? And he's doing it in a really nice way. To your earlier comments about his direction being, very subtle and very naturalistic in tone, that's the contrast that he cuts to Scorsese and his directorial style when you think about it in that way. And it's like he's doing a less assuming version of a Scorsese film, essentially. Yeah. Like, it's much quieter. The violence is even more restrained than it is in Scorsese's films. And I just think it's awesome. Like, yeah, everything about it is really good. There are some points, as I commented on earlier, where the pacing is maybe a little bit slow within individual scenes for my taste. But I think I can come around to kind of your way of seeing it as being in service of the kind of naturalism that we've alluded to a few times during the discussion. And I do struggle a little bit, especially in that very latest part of the third act, like we talked about, with how stupid the C character is. Like, the moment where it really fell apart for me was when he realizes, like, oh, we have to go stop my friends. Like, it's like he needed to be reminded that, like, now that he's not in the car, a part of this thing, that he has a moral obligation to go do something about it if he can. Like, it's just like little stuff like that. Like, it was just a little bit tough for me, but those are the kinds of things that I can chalk up to my own personal taste and still see this as pretty close to a perfect film, honestly, in its execution. And I'm really heartbroken that we didn't get more of this, to be honest. Like, after we watched it, I was like, I finished the film and I was like, well, that fucking ruled. Like, De Niro's a great director. Why didn't we get a couple more of these? Like, where was this guy in The Good Shepherd? This is a great film. It's good.
I think with both films that De Niro directed, it comes down to the quality of the script. And Palminteri's script for A Bronx Tale is absolutely phenomenal, and the script for The Good Shepherd was just boring and meandering. And De Niro's directorial style is pretty, unassuming. It's quietly confident. It's not flashy, and so there's nothing to distract from the quality of the script when you're watching. And I think that works really well in a film like A Bronx Tale, which is this very small, self-contained story with a few characters. I think it really highlights De Niro's strengths as a director, and A Good Shepherd with its larger time scale and ensemble cast, it just kind of fell apart, which is pretty disappointing because De Niro clearly has the goods.
He clearly does. I would really love, Robert De Niro, if you're listening to this, which, really, really hope that you are at some point in your life, I would love to know that you're listening to the podcast. So please write us at ourherodeniro@gmail.com if you are. You should really think about directing another film or two while you're still working. You clearly are a very talented director. And I think if you decide to do a third one, to my co-host point, try to be a little bit more discerning about the screenplay because... Right. To your comment, you clearly have the goods. You're an amazing director. Please direct more films. Would love to see more. Bronx Tale fucking ruled. What an amazing film.
Yeah, seriously.
Definitely one of my favorites of the podcast so far. But very significantly. Really, really loved it. So with that being said, Mike, do you have anything that you would recommend in addition to A Bronx Tale?
Yeah, I thought of this recommendation immediately as the film wrapped up. I'm recommending the 1989 Spike Lee directorial debut, Do the Right Thing, which he not only directed, but also wrote. You've never seen this film. Yeah, nope. Right. I watched this last summer with a friend of the pod, Philip, a.k.a. Lips, for the first time. We actually had an outdoor movie night using our relatively inexpensive projector and projector screen. And it was a really fantastic experience. It's very much a summer in New York kind of film, but I think it's a good watch any time of year. It's set over the course of the hottest day of the summer in Brooklyn's Bed-Stuy neighborhood, and it centers on this tightly knit block that's just simmering with, social and economic and racial tensions. And rather than following a single protagonist like A Bronx Tale does, Do the Right Thing operates more as a community portrait and shows how everyday slights and pride and power imbalances kind of just accumulate until they explode. I think that it pairs really well with A Bronx Tale because both films examine race and masculinity and neighborhood identity in New York, but from differing philosophical positions. Do the Right Thing is a very morally ambiguous film, and it doesn't offer any easy answers. So I think that tonally, Spike Lee really honestly masterfully uses heat, color, and music and confrontation to create pressure. And it complicates the cleaner race dynamics of A Bronx Tale. And it's still, it felt like such an urgent and provocative film, even watching it in summer of 2025. I think it's highly relevant. I think it's a really self-assured directorial debut, and it's a really fantastic film. So highly recommend Do the Right Thing.
Great recommendation. I might watch it tonight.
Yeah, we'll see. What about you, Mike? What do you recommend in addition to A Bronx Tale?
I struggled so much with this. So
it's one of your fucking catchphrases.
There are kind of two categories of thing that I would like to recommend for this, and the problem is that neither of them is really a candidate. So one, would really like to recommend one of the great Scorsese films that stars Robert De Niro, because that is kind of to what I think this has quite a debt creatively, but we can't do that because we've already watched them for the pod, or we're going to watch them for the pod. And the other thing that I would have really liked to recommend, and so I am going to take this opportunity to really kind of stress its relevance, which I did talk a bit about, I think, during the Roberts a few weeks ago, but the gentleman who plays 17-year-old C, Lilo Brancato, is in a recommendation of yours from several months ago called Crimson Tide, which I watched this year. Yep. Before I give my recommendation, I just want to say, like, that's when I thought about wishing I could recommend. And if you're deciding how to prioritize Mike and Mike recommendations from the podcast, you should move Crimson Tide by Mike a few months ago to the very fucking top of your list, because that is an incredible film. Probably the best recommendation you've made on the podcast so far that I've watched. So I can't recommend either of those things, which is a real shame. So I had to go pretty deep. And I am going to make a recommendation that I'm not sure that I will get another opportunity to recommend. We've talked about it a few times on the podcast, just conceptually. And it's something that you can do in kind of an artful way instead of it being a kind of obnoxious recommendation. And so I would like to recommend the 1999 pilot episode of The Sopranos. If you've never watched The Sopranos, you can just watch the pilot. It functions completely competently as a film. I mean, it really does, right? Like, David Chase wrote and directed the first episode of The Sopranos as a pilot, knowing that it might never get picked up for a full series run. And so his intent with the episode was to make essentially a slightly shorter than feature-length film that functions totally on its own as just a story about this violent mobster who's actually horribly depressed and going into therapy and kind of starting to explore some of his demons in a way that's a little bit more pro-social and engages a little bit more with kind of modern ways of thinking about things. And it's just, if you really think about it, right? I don't know. I think we tend to have a little bit of recency bias when we think about television. But I think The Sopranos pilot episode might be the greatest episode of television ever made. What do you think? Do you find that compelling? Like as a single episode?
Yeah, it functions as its own self-contained story. I was really surprised and impressed when I watched the pilot episode for the first time at your house a couple of years ago, and was kind of blown away by how high quality it was. It really comes out swinging. David Chase knew exactly what he was doing from the very beginning. It's really impressive stuff.
Yeah. So I don't mean this as a joke recommendation. I mean, Mike and I both love The Sopranos. If you've never seen it, you should watch it. It's one of the 2 or 3 greatest television shows ever made. If you enjoy the films of Robert De Niro, you will enjoy The Sopranos. There's a lot of, I think, thematic and tonal overlap between basically every part of The Sopranos and every good thing that Robert De Niro has ever made. So I could not possibly recommend the pilot episode of The Sopranos any more strongly. And even if you watch it and decide not to watch the rest of the series, I still think it is an excellent 60-minute exploration of the character of Tony Soprano. And I think odds are it'll make you want to watch the show. The connection it has to this, explicitly to restate it, is that the lady who plays Rosina, C's mom in A Bronx Tale, is in The Sopranos. She has a relatively small role as the wife of one of the tertiary characters. She's probably in like maybe 15 or 20% of the episodes.
That's the connection you're making to it?
Well, I mean, that's what made me think of it.
Oh, okay.
Because, I do my thing. The way I think of my recommendations is, if nothing strikes me thematically when I'm thinking about the film, I'll poke through the entire creative team. I'll go a few degrees out. I'll look. I'm like, what have I seen that every actor in this movie is in? What have I seen that the cinematographer did? What have I seen that the composer did? Like, and there were like no connections for this film for me.
But Lillo Brancato, the star of the film, also had a minor supporting role in The Sopranos.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
He was one of the young wannabe mobsters in season 2.
Really? That's him? Oh, Matthew Bevilacqua. Yeah, I remember this guy.
He's one of the Wabistics guys.
You're supposed to push Wabistics.
I was just giving them alternatives. Shit! Wabistics is our pick of the week.
Yeah, okay.
Wabistics.
Oh, that's so funny. I didn't recognize him at all. This is an incredible moment on the podcast. I'm so delighted that we're getting to have this conversation. That's
so you're talking
really,
about
really
fucking
good stuff.
Charmaine Bucco's in the Bronx Tale for 5 minutes.
I don't look at TV shows. Like that's why I didn't see that. Like I look at films because I don't want to recommend TV shows. It's not a TV podcast. It's a film podcast.
Yeah, you've already run out of films to recommend on this show. You need to watch more movies.
10 movies. So yeah. So there you go. I think these are both great recommendations, and I know you laugh at me when I make recommendations like that, but I actually think it's a really good one. So there you go.
This is the best possible TV recommendation you could ever make. So I think you kind of have to stop making TV recommendations after this point.
Yeah, you're right. I did kind of peak here. I've made a TV recommendation before, haven't I? Haven't I done any episode of Justified?
Yeah, and also the pilot episode of 24.
This is not going to be the last TV recommendation that I'm going to make, by the way, but I hope it can be. I'd love to think I have that kind of self-control. I just know I don't. What an exciting discussion about A Bronx Tale, and makes me think about how excited I am to roll for next week's film. Mike, what are you hoping to roll this week?
Yeah, I'm rolling this week.
Well, I'm excited for us to roll for next week. I'm using the royal I referring to the podcast.
Okay, sure. I am excited to hopefully roll number 49 on our list, Silver Linings Playbook. I feel like the world has never been more ready for us to discuss that film than it is right now.
That's so true.
And with that, I'm going to roll now. I didn't roll Silver Linings Playbook. I rolled number 31, which is... Holy fucking hell. Oh my God. Oh, it's happening, people. It's happening.
One of the big boys.
We rolled one of my favorite films, one of my favorite De Niro films, possibly one of my favorites of all time. We rolled the 1998 John Frankenheimer film, Ronin. Oh, man.
It's one of the reasons why we did the podcast, really, if you think about it. I mean, coming into this, we all had our favorite De Niro performances. And I know this is right near the top of the mountain for you. This is really, really exciting.
I can't believe it's happening so early in 2026. But for those who don't know, Ronin is a 1998 American neo-noir action thriller film that is directed by John Frankenheimer and written by John David Zeik and David Mamet. It stars an ensemble cast consisting of Robert De Niro, Jean Reno, Natasha McElhone. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that name right. Stellan Skarsgård, Sean Bean, and Jonathan Pryce. Oh, I'm so excited for this one. I've watched it a couple of times, and it has one of the best car chases ever filmed.
Really exciting. Yeah, man, I am super pumped. This is the one I've been looking forward to.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a great reason to tune in again next week.
Well, there you go. I guess next week we will be watching Ronin, one of Mike's favorite movies.
I'm so excited.
And so it's a delight to be doing the podcast, and this is definitely one that we are both really, really looking forward to. And so with that, I would like to thank you, Mike, for being my co-host, and all of you loyal citizens of De Niro Nation for joining us week in and week out on this adventure. I would like to thank my lovely wife, Caroline, friend of the pod, wife of the pod, aka Bad Cree, for drawing our podcast's lovely art. I would like to invite you to review our links at allmylinks.com/ourherodeniro. And please follow and rate us on your podcast platform of choice. 5 stars only, please. We really, really need this. And write us an email about literally anything at ourherodeniro@gmail.com. And we really hope that you'll join us for Ronin next week. Got anything you'd like to say, Mike?
Oh my God, I can't wait for Ronin. I just want to fall asleep for the next 7 days and wake up and have it be Ronin day.
I'm super excited. And so we'll see you guys next week. It's an amazing film, and I think we're going to have a lot to say about it. So thanks, everybody. Have a good one.